Morning, good morning. So one of the things that's important to remember about these videos is you're welcome to screw up everything and be absolutely your imperfect self. This is not about performance. This is about being able to come together on the mat and be ourselves and mess up and learn from our mess ups. So we're going to start in Dragonfly because I just saw the first Dragonfly of the season. Yay! And Dragonfly is where you stretch your legs out really wide. Let's turn this way. So first thing to see is, can you sit upright? If you need a little lift, put something underneath your hips. Do you need one too? And then, after you've lifted up, just lie down on the floor. Or start to sink your chest and imagine you have a really heavy beard. I guess it's not the same as like with dreadlocks. Like you can cut off dreadlocks and like your like neck is like whee. That's not quite the same with beards. But whether you have a beard or not, you can put your hands underneath your knees a little bit even. Take a full inhale, and with your exhale, sigh out. Ah. So starting in these first couple poses, in a yin way, being gentle, slow, practicing the art of surrender. It's not a surrender that comes out of weakness, but truly this epitome of strength, when you have the strength to decide, when you have the strength to be free. And just explore, how does that show up in your physical body? Letting your elbows be heavy. There's no place to go. When we check in with our body, it is the most earthbound part of ourselves. Not only with the wonderful effects of gravity, but it is the most agreed upon part of ourselves. Most people will not argue that we have a body. And even though we've had so many milestones in science, breakthroughs and discoveries, in our physical body we still house some mysteries, such as, what is the moment that our food becomes us? Then take a couple moments to Notice your energy this morning. The thinking would be that with all this extra sunlight, it's just an increase in energy, but oddly enough, it can be quite exhausting too. And with your next inhale, roll up. Bring your hands to about mid-thigh. You're going to extend your legs, reaching through your heels. Engage your root lock by lifting your perineum up towards your spine. Push the ground down and lift up your butt or lift up your legs. Or just look a little boop. Nice. And then spin around. And then come. We're going to come into reclining butterfly. So you bring the bottoms of your feet together. Come back onto your elbows. And if it's comfortable for your neck, you can drop your head back. If it's painful for your neck to drop it back, you can let your chin come towards your chest. And take a couple moments to notice how your emotions are this morning. So this is just an investigation of how you're feeling right now, what your emotions are that are alive and expressed in you. And sometimes we get into ruts or we have hard times of our life. So the emotions aren't always light and easy and pretty. One of the ways we practice bravery is actually being able to feel all of them. Let your elbows slide forward and bring your upper body down to the ground, keeping your feet as they are. And bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. And take a couple moments to check in with your mental realm, your mind body, your body of ideas and thinking. So both in our investigation with our feelings and thinking, we're exploring the realms of our soul, the realms of our etheric body and our astral body. And you'll find less people that agree with you about the presence of a soul than the presence of a physical body. And then stretch your legs out. Take a couple breaths to explore the even less agreed upon nature of yourself. Explore the part that you could call spirit, or the part that is eternal in your being, that when you die doesn't perish. And then extend that exploration to exploring that invisible nature with the question of where does it live? Can we see that there's a spirit and a being that comes alive in our ideas and in our conversations or our projects and plans or organizations? There's a whole world of invisible that we not only work on by ourselves individually, but collectively. And then hug your knees up to your chest. And we're going to do a little, shout out to the mama nature of the world. And I want you to rock back and forth, but in that rocking back and forth, use 9 rocks to get yourself all the way in a circle. It's from Ashtanga. It really is yoga, where you actually move around in a circle. Back to where you came from. And then find your way back to center. 9-ish. Not all of us have the joy of 9 months in the belly. And then flip over and come into Sphinx. Sweet. Ooh. So since we've been exploring the less agreed upon nature of our humanity, a beautiful concept that was given to the world by Rudolf Steiner is that our physical body, our etheric body, and our astral body are all sustained not just by physical elements of being on Earth, but actually human elements, emotional elements, virtue elements. And the idea or the picture is that hope sustains the physical body, feeds and gives the physical body vitality. And you can kind of see examples of this, not only when a baby is born. I mean, it's like an inner experience. Like, just have a young child, you have this like in your heart to meet one, or friends and family having them. But also, there's a real life-giving force to it. You hear stories again and again about how people wait to meet someone before they die. Like whether it's their children or family to show up before they die. And so the hope of seeing them actually sustains them a little longer. And can this hope actually energize even our relationship, not just to our physical nature, but actually to the earth itself? With the etheric body, in Vedic terms, the pranamaya kosha, with this layer of us that is most similar to the similarities we share with plants, love is what feeds and sustains and gifts its vitality to the etheric body. And think about how, we have pictures of a loving home and how that boosts our vitality. Even with plants, we have all these examples of, saying the right words and playing the right music for plants and caring about your plants and actually expressing care actually makes a difference in how a plant produces and gifts us fruit. And maybe in your own biography you've noticed when love is alive and in your life you actually feel more as if you're a plant that's been watered. And with the astral body, which is, you can think of this body of ideas and emotion, not just sensation and emotion, what sustains it and boosts it and supports it is faith. So this trust in the invisible. And again, we have countless stories from biography after biography, how someone's faith has allowed them to be persistent in pursuing an idea, a solution, till they are able to do what seemed impossible before they did it. And gently allow your body to come down to the ground. Bend your knees and slide nothing. Just shake your legs back and forth. Slyly. Yes, you can wiggle your hips. And allow yourself to moan and groan a little bit. Wendell Berry has this great quote about the earth and hope. The care of the earth is our most ancient and our most worthy, and after all, our most pleasing responsibility. To cherish what remains of it and to foster its renewal is our only hope. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Shift your hips back to your heels. Lao Tzu says, to deeply be loved by someone else will give you strength. To deeply love another will gift you courage. And then inhale. Sitting on your heels, lift up your chest, bring your hands to heart center. Let your elbows be heavy. Feel the insides of both of your palms. Maybe a hint of a smile to flare your nostrils to bring in more air. Empty your breath. Take a deep inhale. And then crawl your way forward into downward facing dog. And wiggle around a little bit. Shifting your weight from your different feet to your hands. And just to round out the thought, the idea of hope sustains your physical body. Love feeds your etheric body and plants. Faith, trust in the unknown is the key to wisdom. So when we throw everything we've heard and know into the places of uncertainty and emptiness, we get fear. But when we leave it empty and trust the unknown, we practice faith. Feel your hips pull up and back. Feel even your toes smiling just a little bit. Feel your breath as you inhale all the way to your root lock. Feel your root lock engage as you empty your breath all the way. Look forward and walk your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, slide your chest forward. Exhale, release, and let your head drop. Push down with your feet, rise up tall, lift up high, even your fingers stretch to the ceiling. And exhale, samastiti. Inhale, stretch your arms up high. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift, walk or float. Exhale, chaturanga or the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Oh. Notice that you can just be stagnant in your downward facing dog, or you can be dynamic. Excuse me. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way. Walk or float your feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Push down with your feet. Rise up tall. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Feel the growth. And with your exhale, bow forward. Feel the surrender. Inhale, halfway lift, kind of in between. And then either walk to plank and lower down chaturanga or ashtanga namaskar, dropping your chest, chin, and knees. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. So take a moment to notice what your insides are doing. Not so much the increased wonderful circulation in your organs, but more your thinking. So if you're going, oh no, just change it up. See what happens when you're like, oh yes. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way. And then walk or float your feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down, let your head drop. Push down with your feet, rise up tall, lift up high, and exhale, Samastitihi. Bend your knees low, drop your hips, inhale, Utkatasana. And let's take a couple breaths here. You know, you can clearly hear I'm suffering, so let's share that and spread it around. Find the weight in your heels, slide your feet together, and lengthen the back of your neck. I know, how do you do that? You can roll, you can think of lifting up and pulling forward the tops of your ears. Your gaze is still forward. Drop your hips a little lower, and then slide your knees back so you can see your toes. And then you can even look at them. You can wiggle your toes without moving your fingers, I'm sure. Now, reach to your fingertips, a hint of a smile, and with your exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, either chest to the knees, Ashtanga Namaskar, or the other thing, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Now play with your leg a little bit. Bend your knee, let your hip spin open, close it. Get familiar with all the moving parts. You might notice like it's easy to feel if your foot is pointed or flexed. It's easy to feel if your knee is bent or straight, but it's actually harder to feel if your hip is squared or open, like twisting open. So square your hips and step your right foot all the way forward to your right thumb. Bring your left knee down to the ground. And inhale, supported crescent lunge. Raise your arms up. So it's like you have an extra big foot in the back. So push down from your toes to your knee. Feel your hips sliding forward so you're stretching the front of your left thigh. Stretching your groins a little. And then explore a little bit more of the back bend, perhaps. So it might be just being like, or it might be like reaching back and holding onto your foot. Just don't want to limit yourself with your own imagination. Take another full inhale, let it feed you and fuel you. And then exhale, Chaturanga or Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. And explore the intricacies of your left leg, all the moving parts. You can wiggle your toes. How many bones do you think you have in your leg? I'm not quite sure. I mean, in your leg I know. I'm just not sure how many there are in the foot. Open and close your hip. And then with your hips squared to the mat, step your left foot all the way forward to your left thumb, even if you have to help it. And bring your right knee onto the ground, and especially if you're like over 20, you might have to fold the sides of your mat in to pad your knee. Rise up. You know where we're going. We did it on the other side. It's like fractions. Explore. Where can you be most alive? So you want to balance the sweetness, the comfort, with the effort, with the striving. And if you need to add a little raverness, that's totally fine. Some of us do come most alive on a dance floor. Take another full inhale, and then exhale, Chaturanga or Ashtanga Namaskar. So Ashtanga Namaskar, you stick your butt way into the sky. Yes, nice, Grace. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then feel the connection of your hands to the mat, fingers spreading out. Now, as you push your hands down, imagine trying to pull your arms up. So your shoulder blades actually come more towards your hips. Again, finding this balance between too much, not enough. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way, and then walk or float your feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Let your head drop, softening your knees as much as you need to. Bend your knees, drop your butt. Inhale, Utkatasana. Ah. And let's breathe here. So can you minimize your own suffering here? So maybe you roll the tips of your ears forward, or maybe you look up. We don't all need the same medicine. Maybe you take your arms a little wider to make it a little easier to liberate the trapped energy of your elbows. Maybe you imagine you're sitting on a chair instead of a bar stool. Take another full inhale, and with your exhale, stand up, Samastitihi. Now one breath. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, Chaturanga or Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra, toenails on the ground. Point your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. This helps you create a little bit more momentum and space. So the other right leg, Anna. And with your exhale, step your right foot to your right thumb. This time, let your left heel stay lifted, your left leg engage, and rise up, crescent lunge. Let's take some breaths here. So with your back heel lifted, different than Warrior One, you can wiggle your hips way more. Oh yeah, check it out, make sure I'm not lying to you. Now lunge a little deeper, feeling your right knee slide over your right ankle. Imagine your left thigh is trying to hug your left hamstring. Push with your left heel into thin air like it's a solid rock. Take another full inhale. Explore a little bit of the back bend with your exhale. Inhale up to center. Exhale, Chaturanga or Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra, toenails on the ground. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. With your exhale, carry your foot all the way forward to your left thumb. Right heel stays lifted, rise up, strong right leg. Inhale up, crescent lunge. So really imagine that you're pushing your left heel towards something that's solid and can take your push. You can imagine stretching your fingers out, broadening your wrists. One of the most wonderful directions about learning how to run is this wonderful guy in Asheville whose name is escaping me this moment. But he encourages people, run like you're a child. Like, run like you're a little kid. Try it out. It's way more fun. So a little bit with our yoga practice, don't practice as if you were somebody else, but practice really as yourself. Take another full inhale, and with your exhale, explore the back bend. And then with your exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. If you need to take a break in child's pose, you're always free to do that. We want to feel the difference of what it is to force ourselves into something or to be able to push ourselves with discipline and love. There's plenty of practice of force in the world. How do we become peacemakers even within ourselves? Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way and float your feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Bend your knees, drop your butt, inhale. Utkatasana. And exhale, Samastitihi. Shake out your wrists. Stand nice and tall. And then you're going to lift up the inside of your right foot. Squeeze your knees and thighs together. So if you're grabbing onto the outside, see if you can grab onto the inside. Now, if you feel in this pose like you're being held back by your shoulder, it's because you twisted your arm. And you want to keep your shoulder open. Let your eyes lift to above the horizon and find a spot to concentrate on. And then stretch your left arm up to the sky. So you're going to, thank you. And you keep looking at that spot, and then you try to slide your right thigh back, making sure if you feel like you're getting locked in your shoulder, it's because you're giving yourself a shoulder lock. I know, but it's a twist when you have joints moving in the opposite direction. That's what creates the lock. Feel that you're pointing up to the ceiling with the ball of your big right toe. Notice if you're holding your breath or getting uber serious. And then inhale, stretch up. Stretch up and let go of your leg. Okay, other side. So the alignment is the same as if you're standing. You just pick up your left leg. Now, one way to not do a shoulder lock is to bring your left elbow into your waist, and then as you slide your left hand back, let your left shoulder travel with it, then pick up the inside of your foot. Yes. Yes? Yes. Now, stretch up, imagining you're holding on to something, like a branch of a tree there. Keep your gaze lifted above the horizon. The horizon, out to the Baltic. And then slide your left thigh back. And let your left thigh really be the motor of this pose. See if your eyes can actually bore holes through the wall or soften your gaze. Beautiful pair. And it is dancer's pose, so let it be expressive. And then inhale up. All right. Let's do it again. But this time, I'm going to give you a little strap. It looks like a tie. It's actually a yoga strap and not a pen, if you know the Buddhist exercise about the pen. Now, you're going to have a very snazzy little, you got some style. So take your tie, take it behind your ankle, and bring both ends of the tie in between your big toe and your second toe. And then see if you can hoist your right leg over your shoulder. Mm-hmm. And then see if you can bring your right hand to your left hand to your right hand. Beautiful. You allow yourself to breathe. Lift your gaze, Anna. Beautiful, Robin. Let your elbows come back if you can, Anna. Yeah, baby. And then release. And you can just let your strap go. Mm-hmm. Other side. So, sometimes this is referred to as the moccasin strap wrap. No, what's it? It's the moccasin, I guess. So you bring your strap, tie, scarf behind your ankle, in between your big toe and your second toe, like you're wearing flip-flops. And then hoist your left leg over your left shoulder like a sack of potatoes. And then see if you can choke up on your grip, hand over fist, bringing your right hand over your left. If you start to fall, definitely let go of the strap. Maybe a hint of a smile. Oh, fertilizer. Nice. Yucky, I see. All right. Now take your strap and just put it down on the ground. Yeah. Come to the top of your mat. Stretch your arms up. With your exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, Ashtanga Namaskara or Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. With your exhale, step your right foot to your right thumb. Back heel stays lifted. Rise up, crescent lunge. With your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Now stretch your left arm up to the sky, and then with your exhale, bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Press your palms together. A little bit of a releasing twist. Let your shoulders come down your spine. You can get punk rock if you want. Make your bottom hand a fist and push down on it. See how it lifts your heart. Yeah, do you feel that power then? And then unwind, come up to center, and with your exhale, bring your hands either side of your right foot. Stretch your left leg up to the ceiling. Come into Ekapada Uttanasana, standing splits. So square your hip as much as you can, your left hip. Hanging on, holding on to your ankle, one hand at a time. Bringing your knee, your shin to your face to your shin is probably easier. And with your exhale, bring your left foot next to your right foot. Bend your knees, drop your butt. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, Chaturanga or Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky, and with your exhale, step your left foot forward to your left thumb. Right heel stays lifted. Rise up, Anjaneyasana. And with your exhale, open arm twist to your left. Ta-da! That was like synchronized swinging, beautiful. And then inhale, you first, Grace. Raise your right arm up. I'm just kidding. And with your exhale, bring your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Now, really push down on your bottom hand like you're praying in earnest. Let it help you. Feel your shoulders come down. If you need to, you can put your back knee onto the ground. And then inhale up, Anjaneyasana. With your exhale, fly forward and Ekapada Uttanasana, standing splits. One hand at a time to your left ankle, bringing your forehead to your shin, keeping your right hip straight, like square to the ground, and your right leg straight. Drop your head if you can. Trust yourself to shift your weight towards your toes. Stand on the ceiling with your right leg. And with your exhale, bring your right foot next to your left foot. Separate your feet hip distance apart. And let's join on it and come down into goddess pose. Oh yeah. Let your shoulders come down your back. You can take your feet wider if you're struggling to bring your elbows. If you're struggling to bring your elbows to the ground, no, your heels. Your shoulders come down behind you as you're able. If you're able to, Grace, bring the weight back more to your heels and lift your chest. Interlace your fingers. Inhale, lift up, take a little back bend, and exhale. Goddess pose. And the highlight of the class, you're going to reach back and see if you can grab onto your butt. See if you can bring your shoulders underneath your thighs, and then straighten your legs. Oh, good morning. And then come back down, goddess pose. And then we're going to come into Titipasana. So you're going to bring your hands back behind you and see if you can lift up your feet. Maybe you can today, maybe you can't. If you have like a messed up shoulder, maybe don't try. Put your hands flat on the ground and stretch your legs straight out. Lift it up. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Stretching your legs out. Yes. And then with a little spanda, lie onto your back. Hug your knees up to your chest. Maybe you lift up your face and kiss your knees. Thank you. They've been wonderful knees this morning. And slowly drop your knees to the left. And your gaze goes to the right. You can hold onto your knees with your left hand. Take your knees up a little higher if you can, Robin. Nice. Take another full inhale with your exhale, sigh out. Oh. And then this final pose, just take a couple moments to notice What came up for you as fertilizer? What visited you as gift? Did you have moments of hope, love, and faith in your practice? And then come back to center. Feel free to sneak another kiss in if you want. And with your exhale, slowly drop your knees to the right. And think about how incredible it is that we can actually be part of sustaining another human being's body, etheric body, astral body, just by loving and faithing, by being ourselves, by being expressive. By being hopeful, by caring for the livingness around us. Our practice isn't to just get cute yoga buns, but it's about being free to be ourselves, free to express our humanity at its best. Free to love. Come back to center. Stretch your legs long. Find something to cover your eyes with or close your eyes. Let your arms relax next to you, palms up, or have your hands relaxed on your belly. Letting the ground have you. With your next inhale, invite your breath back to the edges of your body. Before you even move, just take a moment to be grateful for something. This is an emotional practice that can be one that gives you hope and love and maybe even faith. You can be grateful for family or the sky or something very specific. Wiggle around with your fingers and your toes. And then roll onto your right hand side, hugging your knees to your chest. And then help yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Allow your hands to meet at heart center. Feel the ground below you and lift up away from it. Empty your breath and join me in one final Om. Take a deep inhale. Bring your prayer hands to your third eye. Invite the divine light. And as we bow forward, together we say, Namaste. And then to be truly celebrating being awake, make some noise, nice. Woohoo! So go out there and be hopeful and loving and faithful. Full of faith. Awesome. Yeah, that does translate to awesome. And generous.